Welcome to Podcast with Aaron. I'm Aaron, and I have with me today Cameron, a good friend. Introduce yourself, Cameron.
Well, hello, my name's Cameron. I'm not going to say my last name because it's long and hard to pronounce and whatever, but I'm Aaron's friend. We met, like a year and a half ago, 2 years, something like that?
2 years ago, almost exactly.
Our 2-year anniversary's coming up.
Our bro anniversary.
It was in the middle, right at the end of April. So and I run a media production company called Mythmaker Media, and I also live in a van. So that's kind of me in a nutshell.
There's a lot to explore there. Also, Cameron and I have been friends for a while, but we're doing this crazy thing today. And doing the video podcast for real, like in person. So
he's right there.
I know he's actually sitting across the table from me. So I don't know how it's gonna work, but like most things, we're just gonna play it by ear and make it happen.
Yep. Hoping the microphones don't cross over. So if you hear two of us, it's his fault. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow. Transitions take time.
But
today, Cameron had brought up the topic. As my guest, we want to talk about friendship a little bit to start off. Who knows where it's going to go, but we're going to start there. We've had so many good conversations leading up to this moment, and so we're looking forward to this conversation and having it with you. So get it started, Cameron.
Yeah. Friendship's a really broad topic, and so I want to narrow it down a little bit. And so the way I want to narrow it down, Aaron, is intentional friendship. Because a lot of times people say, oh, I'm friends with this person and that person. And it's something that happened. It wasn't an active participation thing. They just met somebody somewhere. And it's great. Those spontaneous relationships are awesome. But active friendship is when you choose it. You say, I'm going to enter into a relationship with someone that I don't know with the intention of getting to know them with no benefit to me. That's what I define as like an active friendship. And it's something that's recent for me. In the past, I've been very passive with relationships. And I'm an introvert, so this is scary for me being in front of a camera. I'm used to filming people on the other side of the camera, so this is out of my comfort zone. But the past couple of years, I've realized that active friendship, like participating intentionally in a friendship, is very important. And so that's how I'm going to narrow the conversation, rather than being so broad.
Okay. Well, and man, you just said 2 sentences, and I've already got a few rabbit holes in line with that to chase down.
Okay.
Well, and you talk about passive friendship, and I like to think about, having things in common with other people. So, for instance, the typical one is 2 guys love football, and even better if they're both for the same team, right? They have all this in common, all the players, the scoring, the likes, the dislikes, their Super Bowl dream. They got all that stuff going on, and it's so much stuff you can talk to. And also, isn't it so efficient when you have things in common? Like me and Cameron, some things we have in common is video games.
Oh, yeah.
And he's an IT guy that knows a lot, and I'm just kind of getting just as much IT as I need to get something done. And so in that way, too, he can talk to me and teach me things. But we have these things in common, so we can say, oh, remember Baldur's Gate 3 when we played that? He's like, oh, yeah, I was a monk, and I did this, and I did that, and you did this. And, and so we have a lot of things we can talk about because we have a lot of things in common. But on the other side of that, there's also the intentional piece.
Yep.
Because me and Cameron, he's in a van, he lives in a van, and I live in an RV, and there's been one time when he brought his van over to my RV.
Yeah.
And we hung out, and he went back to his home right next door to mine when it was time to go to bed, and came back over to hang out with me in my RV.
We were neighbors for a couple of days. It was great.
3-day neighbors, and I highly recommend it if you can. But yeah, we continue to chase each other and kind of pursue each other as far as friendship goes. And talking on the phone. Anything you think of out of that, Cameron?
Yeah, I think that's where the active part comes in. Like you said, it's the intentionally making that effort to be around someone without any gain in particular in mind. It's just being around that person. And because here's the thing, even if there's nothing in your mind saying, oh, I'm going to get something from this relationship, you get something from the relationship.
Right.
Both parties do. They both grow. It's, as the Bible says, iron sharpens iron, which is very true. I found that as I go through life, like, oh man, there's so many opportunities that I would not take if somebody didn't push me towards. and like this. This is exactly the moment. But I mean, like, just it's a true statement that's in the Bible. It's like you really do sharpen other people, and like going into that a little deeper. Like, what is the active part of it? It's the being open to the challenge, because in any relationship, something is going to happen at some point where that relationship is challenged. And so how you overcome that, how you get through that, strengthens or deteriorates the relationship. That's the active part, is just deciding, I'm going to figure out how to make this strengthen, not deteriorate the relationship. I feel like a passive friendship where you're just like there while it's good, but as soon as it gets hard, you get out kind of thing. That's the passiveness. It's like, it's a fair weather friends kind of thing. Everything's going good. We have something in common. And then I find out that you like the wrong NFL. I don't sports ball, y'all, but you like the wrong NFL team. And now it's like, oh, it's a little hard to like be friends with you because you're rooting for the team that's facing my team, and like that's a terrible example, but I'm just trying to come up with something.
No, I think it's good, and I think I've encountered that where somebody's like, "Oh, you're from Dallas, you're a Dallas Cowboys fan, then I don't like you, and we're not going to get along," kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or conversely, somebody else would come to me and say, "Well, we're not even facing you at all, so it doesn't bother me at all that you're from Dallas because your team and my team are arch enemies
right now." Yeah, that's
this
the eventual.
We're fine. We can watch the games together because we both want to see the Ravens lose or whatever. And so I've seen it go both ways in conversations with people. So I think that's very valid.
Yeah, and that's just like a silly example, but like a really realistic example for I think most friendships and relationships that we enter into is like, it's not challenging like the other person's challenging us. It's the world or the situations that we're in are challenging us to remain in that relationship. So for instance, you get too busy and you don't got time, for your friend right now because I got to get work done. Like, sorry, man, I got to work. And like, that's a really easy one for me to fall in. Like personally, like I'm a contract worker. When work hits, it hits, and it, like when it pours, it rains, or when it rains, it pours, kind of thing. And I try not to get buried underneath it, and we got some dogs walking around here. But try not to get like sucked into it so deep that I don't have time for friends in those moments. So being responsible, doing the job right, and taking the time to do the job, but also like not locking in and saying, "Hey man, I can't talk to you right now. I've got to finish this project. And I have no time at all for you." Like that's a really, really realistic example for me personally.
Yeah.
And I'm still working on it. I'm not done. But change my thinking in that regard of being like, okay, I can make time for this.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to be active here.
Yeah. And it doesn't take a lot of time sometimes. It doesn't take a lot of time or thought to say, man, and you've told me this, I've had a busy week this week. And so I don't really have time, but what can I do for you or what you need? Yeah. And then at that point we can schedule. Yeah. Or, and it's kind of, we got open schedules. So it's kind of like, well, next time you call, next week should be a lot better. Call me next week. And that takes me back to thinking of something else, like building bridges. We were talking earlier, as I have been on my podcast, about narcissists. And I think about this idea of bridge building and this idea of one plank at a time. Like, so in a relationship, right? I put down, I'm like, maybe this could be a relationship. I'm going to put down one plank. Now let's see what the other guy does. Cameron, he's like, I don't know. He's kind of weird, but I'll try it. Let me put down one plank too, right? And so then we start building this bridge. And then it's a phone call. And then it's a voicemail, and then it's a call back, when they got time. And slowly and carefully over time, both people are building the bridge. And why I bring up narcissists, because I have a storied history of being an overgiver. And the overgiver is, and look, presto, I've got this bridge I've completely built for our relationship. Come on over anytime. And the person's like, I didn't build this bridge. I don't know how you built it. I'm not even setting foot on it. I'm not going to come over there, and I did all the work in advance, probably more work than I'm comfortable with, and I'm expecting them, and I'm resentful because they're not walking on my bridge.
Yeah, you built more than half the bridge.
I built the whole bridge.
You built the whole bridge.
Presto, bridge to my life. Come on over here and take anything, see it all, find my vulnerabilities. That's really what ended up happening. But now I'm more of a slow bridge builder, to where I leave the other person time to do their part, to put their plank down. And if they don't, that's fine. All I've got is one plank. It can stay there.
Yeah.
It's not like I used my entire wood supply for one person. They didn't use it. That's how I used to do it. Now it's like, I got a plank. Let's put a plank down. See what they do. Oh, they put a plank down too. Well, then I will put another plank down, and so on and so forth. Before long, we got our lives joined together to where we got a free, open border where I can come into Cameron's life at any point. He can come in my life at any point.
Yeah.
In my worst moment, in my best moment. What do you think about that?
I never even thought about that analogy of bridge building as a two-party thing. Both parties initiate into it. I mean, that's how real bridges are built. You gotta know where you're landing. You don't start on one end and just build the whole thing. Sometimes I guess you do, but really the best bridges are started on both ends and then meet in the middle somewhere. And it's a team project. And I like what you said there with time. I think it's easy to jump into a friendship with all the intention in the world for the first week or something. Oh man, I met this new guy at the gym. He's so cool. I love, working out with him. He knows more than I do at this, and I know more than he does at that. And we're just a good team. And you just start building too much of a bridge too soon. And that time, it's good to let it settle in a little bit on your end and on their end too. And okay, I met them and they're awesome person. I want to hang out with them more. What's one thing I can do the next time I see them or interact with them or think of them that would help to continue building this bridge, this active bridge this connection I'm making. And
Yeah. And it's, when we talk about putting a plank down, what are some examples? Calling, sending a text. Back in the day, you used to be writing a letter, sending a card, right? I mean,
physical medium
like that. Yeah, old school snail mail used to be the way we communicated. Now it's text or an email, or now it's Discord. Right? I said, that's the way I get Cameron to listen, is sending him a Discord. He's like, oh, that blings right up. I think it blings right here in his brain somewhere when he gets to Discord.
It shows up as a notification on my phone. And if I don't have time I love Discord. You brought that up. We're talking about time and stuff like that. Discord, I get a notification. Aaron wants to talk about something. I'll read it quick, always. I always keep up to date on my Discord chat, as long as I hear it, Yeah. But then, if it's something bigger than what I can handle, I'll text back as soon as I can, saying hey, that's awesome. Let's talk about that more a little bit later. But if I have time now, I'm jumping into that conversation. Let's hop on a channel and chat, like voice chat, not typing, and it goes faster. And yeah, it's a really fluid thing for our friendship. That works really well. But having that, what is that called? Lane of communication, channel of communication, figuring out what works best with a friendship makes a lot of sense.
Well, and I like the building a bridge, and I like how you're continuing to add strength to that relationship. And you're continuing to add, as you do this with multiple people, you add a team of people to your life, which is, I know it's wonderful from my perspective, which sounds selfish at first, and I'm sure it's wonderful from his perspective. He can tell you that when he talks again in just a second. But I've added an IT genius, IT guru, like to my team, and it has been amazing. This podcast exists because I said, well, I think I want to start a podcast. And he said, okay, you're going to need this, 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 and this. Oh, and this is a good program to use. And here, get this microphone. And I was like, okay, wow, okay, thanks.
I may have overbuilt a little bit right there.
Maybe. I don't know.
I was kidding.
I wouldn't lie. I wouldn't lie to you, and I wouldn't lie about you. But it's just been that amazing. Or I started my pottery business, and I was doing workshops, and I talked to Cameron, and he's like, you have a website? And I was like, yeah, I have a website. You want to check it out? He's like, oh, and he's so nice because he looked at this early 90s website based on my very simple design on Google Sites or whatever. And he was like, oh, yeah, super cool. I think I can make one a little bit better for you. And I'm like, okay. He's like, just give me 30 minutes or something like that. And I was like, okay. And he's like, okay, you can check it out now. And I looked, and I was like, all kinds of stuff. It lit up and got color when I wheeled the mouse over it. And I was like, wow. And actually, a tear came to my eye as I read the text. He later told me that he loaded my previous website into AI and said, emulate his voice. And so it was me talking back to me, and I was like, that's so nice. You're so kind to me. Okay, thank you, Cameron. Like with the Kleenex on my eyes, and he's like, I used AI for that. And I'm like, oh.
I gotta tell you, sometimes it's really hard to like help someone without hurting them. That was one of those moments for me. It's like, your website is a website by all technicalities, but I really want to help you make it better.
Can I bring it into the late 2000s for you?
Can I just update it a little? Oh man, that's a great example of like I want to get into that, like friendships, like the why do we have friendships, right? And it's not a give and take thing. I used to think that we were talking about that earlier, like it was transactional. Like I would be your friend, and then hopefully I would get things from you, and I can help you with certain projects. And that's the way I used to think of friendship until about 5 years ago. And then I went through a series of things. I don't think we have time to go too deep into it, because that's a big, long story, and that's an episode in its own right. But suffice to say, I had a bunch of problems with vehicles and stuff like that as I was transitioning into van life, living in the van. And honestly, if I didn't have friends, I don't think I would have made it through. Like that, I know for sure. I know I would not have made it to where I am now. I wouldn't have the home that I have, which is my van. I know it sounds weird, but I wouldn't have that if I didn't have friends in my life at that moment. And I didn't realize how much more valuable they were in that moment. The Bible talks about how friendships are worth more than gold. And I 100%, you can't buy them, but you can make them through time. And it was a really big moment for me to realize that I had the depth of friendship in my life I didn't even know I had. The big walk away point I had was, I didn't put this much into this relationship, this friendship. I am surprised how much this person is helping me. I feel like I didn't build enough of a bridge to deserve this kind of thing.
Right.
And not just from one person, but from multiple friendships throughout my life, that some were less than a year old, some were like since high school, and they all came together in the moments that I needed them to help me through that hard time. Yeah. And it's changed my perspective of friendships to the point where now, that's why I want to talk about it today, is because it's so deep. Not just the people that'll help you in your life, and when storms come, there's people that'll help you, but also the fact that they are more important to me than work, more important to me than many other things. I put friendship way down on that priority list, and now I put it right near the top because it's one of the most important things to me. Yeah. So anyway,
because it's turned. You didn't expect any kind of payback for it. And it wasn't really payback. And that makes me think that maybe kindness doesn't need a bridge. It doesn't need a relationship. But the wonder of how kindness can bring about a deep and meaningful friendship, like being kind to someone else.
It shortens the bridge length. Thinking back to that analogy, like the amount of distance you need to cover now has grown close. Those shorelines have narrowed a little bit.
When I reflect back on a scripture, I don't remember the reference, but it's like, God's kindness leads us to come back to him. It draws us into him, like his kindness towards us. And, when you say he created the world, he created our bodies, he created so many different things. He created friendship. He created this idea that if people come together, they're better.
Yep.
Anytime, any way people come together, I'm not thinking about riots and people destroying stuff. They definitely become more powerful, and that emotional energy really takes on almost a tangible form. But in any other way, especially with kindness and friendship, if you get 3 good friends together, whatever they want to do is going to happen. They're going to have success, or at least a higher rate of success than a person by themselves. But I was thinking about how kindness might make people build bridges, or not make, but draw them in. As you're talking about, you had those friendships, and they helped you out in really tough situations, and that drew you in. You're like, man, this is a good person. I want to get to know them better. I want to meet with them. I want to call them. I want to,
That's the thing I was trying to say, is not just them. It made me rank all friendships. And who's a friend, right? Who's those? Where's the line at?
Yeah.
To everyone you come in contact with.
Potentially.
Yeah. It's the potential of like, this random person in Walmart could become a deep, meaningful relationship in your life. And like holding every encounter to that high standard of like high importance.
Yeah.
And that's something we were talking about earlier, is like I bump into random people at Walmart. I'm much more willing to just sit and have a conversation with, like a rando, at Walmart. Yeah. But
NPC.
like, yeah, an NPC in my character's progression story, but no, I mean, like it really is that, like, this could lead to something more. And sometimes it actually has. I'm just thinking of an actual example. My car, again, car stuff, man. Van life, the car becomes really important to you. I'm just saying. But I was needing some new tires, I was in new tires, and my stepfather was like, hey, I know a mechanic that's really good. And he was busy, and I showed up at his shop, and I was like, well, I'm just going to wait around until you're ready to help, and I'm just going to chat with you and, just, how's your day? What's going on? Like, what do you struggle with? You need a website? No, I'm just kidding.
Hey.
I don't just throw those out there. I do charge for websites normally. But no, I just got to chatting with a guy, and it ended up developing a little bit more into a relationship. And then I had an actual problem with my car. Had some work done, and they didn't hook up the radiator correctly. It was just leaking all the coolant out of the bottom.
Okay.
And I was freaking out. Like, okay, problems with the van means problems with my house. I lose my van, I'm homeless. So it's a whole big cycle of things going through my mind at that very moment. I roll in, the guy remembers me. He's like, oh, I can fix this, no problem. He does it like that minute, just scoots on the vehicle, boop, and one little hose. It was no big deal. And, put a little clamp on there. And I was like, man, I probably wouldn't have got that service. I didn't talk to him before. It just made me realize, like, I don't even know what his name is. I couldn't tell you what his name is. Just a good dude. Good dude in around my parents' hometown.
Yeah.
So, just saying.
Well, and that makes me think of something else we talked about before, and that was what I've started doing, which I can't claim credit for coming up with this, but I saw it on a TikTok video probably, and it was saying, instead of asking people, how are you doing today? Everybody's got their common answer for that, right? They've got their good, or, at least I'm not 6 foot under, or they got some pithy return that they don't have to think about. They don't have to really analyze anything. Every once in a while you get the special treat of, man, it's going bad, it's going rough today. And then at that moment I scoot alongside and say, oh wow, tell me about it. It does sound rough. But what I've started doing to try and make it a little bit easier, but also get information, is say, what's one good thing that's happening in your day to day? And, I've only probably asked 10 or 15 people. But the results have already been remarkable. Enough so that I'm doing it more often even. So, yeah, that's something for my listeners.
Well,
Starting point. Go ahead, Cameron.
Just to clarify, I think you kind of missed it because we did have a prior conversation about it, but Aaron here is saying, as a greeting, sort of like, how you doing? Like, what's one good thing that happened to you today? Like, talk about jumping in with 2 feet to a random conversation with somebody because you have no idea where that's going to go.
I mean, some good examples are a cashier at like a grocery store. I asked, and she's like, you know, people really think about it. They're like, she thought about it. She thought about it. She's like, well, I'm almost done with my work day. I mean, I'll take it. I'm like, wow, that does sound good, you know. And then she turned around and asked me, and I don't have any quick answers. I had to think about it. I was like, you know, and then, I don't know, I was buying in bulk, and I was like, oh, that's a good price. I mean, that's my good thing for today. I was expecting it to be a lot more than this. And she was like, yeah, when you buy in bulk, it's cheaper, you know, but that was my good thing. I was looking, scanning, and then the price came up, and I was like, okay, I'm happy about that. That's good. So
I like what you said about it. Like, the whole idea here is it sneakily adds gratitude to their life.
Yeah. It's the stealthy approach, but not deceptive, not deceitful, not trying to get something, but just trying to, you know, I'm kind of turning the manual hand crank of gratitude in their life. And they look and they scan and they find something to be thankful for, and they think about it for a second. And I don't know if you know how thankfulness works. I mean, I know you do, but to my listeners, like, if you're thankful, it changes the way your brain works. It changes your brain chemistry. It changes how you see the world, your perspective. It changes and obviously makes friendship more available. I mean, and so what I'm forcing them, I'll call it ninja because I like ninjas, right? You don't even know they're there. They're like tapping you on your shoulder with a blade or something.
This is a blade of kindness.
Yeah. I'm a kindness or a gratitude ninja. Like, hey.
Yeah, phew, here's shurikens of gratitude.
I'm grateful right now. What's one good thing in your day? Oh, wow, I feel better. Yeah, this is a good thing, you know. And then I get into a conversation with them, and they lighten up a little bit, and they brighten up a little bit. So I encourage you guys to try it and let me know what happens for you. If you get slapped or punched, I want to know that because I don't want that to happen to me. But
that'd be good to know.
So far,
I mean, I want to try doing it too because what I realized when you told me about that, it interrupts a bad day. Like if they're having a bad day, like anybody, if someone did that to me and I'm having a bad day or having a busy day, which could be analogous to bad for some people, it kind of puts your brain in a pause mode. Like, wait, that interrupted my negativity. Now I got to think about something that's positive. Yeah. What's a good thing that's happened today? And like even if you have to reach a little bit, you're right. It changes your brain chemistry because your machine was running in one direction. Now it's like, whoa, okay, we're going this way now for a little bit. And maybe that little bit turns into a lot more. I just think it's a really cool idea, just because it brings joy to people, even if you don't know them, you know? It's good stuff.
Yeah, and I've only really been using it on people I don't know. But I think I'll start using it on people I do know too.
I mean, I'd like you to do it to me, man, because it'd be great to get interrupted sometimes. Honestly, any interruption from Aaron is a good interruption. And I've learned this.
Well, and that makes me think of our bro story. You know, it's a lot of times you have, and it's like almost an anniversary. So me and Cameron met originally.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that.
Building a mobile office space for homeless people. And I was just to help. Cameron was the brains of the operation, and let me tell you about this guy. Make him blush. No,
I'm good, thanks. I already built one van at that point, and I had agreed to make another van for this organization. Yeah. And I told the organization, I need a helper. I know I can't do it on my own. When I built mine, I had friends, active friendships that I didn't know about yet, helping me do it. And I knew I couldn't do it again. And I couldn't really ask that of the friends I did have. They were giving of their overflow. I can't be like putting them a burden for another organization on them. And I was like, I just need somebody to help me hold things. And they're like, okay, well, look for somebody. And they found Aaron. So that's how we met.
Well, and the pastor of the church I was going to said, because I was always looking for something to do, right? I'm retired, and I didn't even have a pottery business back then. I was just kind of new boots on the ground in the area. We finished our RV. Me and my wife finished our RV adventure a little bit early in 2022. We ended up in a church in Sanger, and that pastor said, "Hey, I got something you might be interested in."
Yep.
And I'm like, "Sure, I can help with basic handyman woodworking stuff. I can help." Right. And so I affectionately began to be called the A-clamp.
Stands for Aaron, and also the all clamp, because everything can be held by the A clamp.
Yeah. And then, we found out the A-clamp can also figure out more efficient ways to do something.
Yeah.
Once in a while,
I had an idea in my head, which of course I thought was genius. It came from here, so it must be good, internal monologue and all that. And I would bring it into the light and be like, this is what I'm thinking. And I think it was like literally the first time we did anything, or second.
Like the ceiling.
Yeah, something with the ceiling. And I walked.
The side walls.
That's what it was. Yeah, it was the side walls. I walked Aaron through what I was thinking, and Aaron sat there. He thought about it, and he was so kindly offered, like, what if we did this other way? And like, if you could see the gears in my brain. One shot right off the rail. The other one just broke teeth right off of it. Completely interrupted my whole thought process for that thing. And it was a much better solution because I was like, oh man, I feel embarrassed. I didn't think of that.
Well, it took him a few minutes.
Yeah, you did have to explain it twice. I remember that now. You were like, what if we did this? I was like, nah, that can't work. And I was like, instantly passed it off. I'm like, well, wait, what if we did this? And I was like, uh-oh. And then gears breaking at that point.
And I gave him time. I'm just like, hey, we'll do it your way. Whatever way you think is best, you're in charge. And he was like, well, and he took it back to the drawing table and he looked at the wood and he looked at his design on his phone or on his computer or whatever. And he was like, well, it might work. And then he was like, I don't know why I didn't think of this. This saved us so much time. And I was like,
it was literally like a day of work it saved, so it was a big deal. I can't remember the specifics. I just remember like initially just instantly passing it off, like that'll never work, and then like a little while went by, and then it came back around. I was like, oh, absolutely, that's so much better. Wait a second, this changes everything. And suddenly the A-clamp became the all clamp. Anything and everything could be benefited by an A-clamp.
Well, and there was a few video game recommendations.
Oh, yeah.
A few other fun things that we had in common. And then I think we went on our first bro date shortly after that. So,
bro dates are good. Let's pivot. I don't know how much time we have in the episode, but I gotta talk about bro dates.
30 minutes, so let's do this.
Let's go into bro dates. They're good. Make time for bro dates. You call your wife and be like, hey, honey, I need some guy time and I need to go on a bro date. And you just, some guy in your life, this is a guy-centric recommendation. Girls have, gal dates, I guess. I don't know what's a good.
They have plenty of get out with other girls, girls night out, stuff like that.
It's a little trickier, I think, for men, especially men in relationships. I'm single, but Aaron's in a relationship, obviously married. So I know it's hard for people that are married and being, around people that are married, be like, hey, let's do this. And like, I can't. We're, going to look at flowers that day or something. There's a lot of things. I don't know what the stuff happens. There's a lot of things in relationships when you're single. You got all the time in the world. Saturdays are yours. It's nobody else's. But yeah, we realized like real quick. Yeah, this is fun. It was cool. See a movie, eat too much food. Have a good time. I like bro dates. Yeah. They're intentional, active friendship moments.
Well, and today our bro date is just making podcasts and figuring that nonsense out of all the electronics.
That's true. There's a lot of electronics. And before that, we had some farm shenanigans. I'm currently watching a farm, and Aaron has graciously come out to the farm with me, and we broke up a dog fight. And what else did we do before we even got started today?
Fed all the animals.
Fed the animals, yep.
Went for a walk and...
Oh man, there's a lot of friendship building moments before we even did the podcast thing, which is happening now. But yeah, bro dates are good.
Well, and I thought too earlier on in our conversation, I thought about how we're designed to be. People are designed to be together. Like how powerful unity is. And I started that thought by getting into bees. And beehives. And I thought, what can I learn from these bees? And they operate in unity every second of every moment of every day. And They're always working. They've kind of got a hive mind. And I thought about that a little bit, and I thought about how my body works. All of these cells, working together for the most part in unity to get whatever goal I have set done. I mean, and little cells in, maybe my least favorite parts of my body that also serve a part in making my dreams a reality, making my goals come true, making friendships happen.
Yeah.
And, I think about, like, I read this book called Limitless Mind. And in the Limitless Mind, it was more geared towards myths and education based on brain research. But what it talked about was when you have one brain by itself, you get a certain amount of solutions. But when you bring another brain into close proximity, i.e. relationship of some kind, you get exponentially, you think you get 2 times the solutions. You get exponentially more solutions. Okay, my solution goes to Cameron. Cameron's solution comes with 5 more back to me. And then I see his 5 solutions, and I think so it's just exponential. It's almost limitless. Like the name of the book, it's almost limitless. Can you imagine if you get 5 people together? I mean, we get to see that to some extent, right? The president's got his cabinet. Elon Musk has his supervisors. And, we call them a team, and sometimes they're not working together perfectly. But when we bring people in unity, there's this power. There's this thinking capacity. What do you think?
I like it. Yeah, it's true too. Like I learned early on in my career, because I work in a creative space, that and honestly, going just a quick aside.
Go ahead.
Everyone has a creative space, even if you think you don't.
I agree.
Problem solving is a type of creativity. So managers are also creative, even if they aren't involved in art or something. Anyway, going back to it though, in the creative space, ideas, especially ideas that go through filters of people, can be amplified. They can also be restricted with the wrong people. But if you put an idea out in a safe space and say, okay, this is what I'm thinking. What do you think? This seems like a cool idea that we could use to, in advertising, like to market this product better or this organization better or whatever. And you put it out in the space, and then you have another creative person look at it, and they can take it and turn it around and see it from a new angle. And they're like, what if we did it like a little bit different and tried this way with that idea? And then that could spark something back in you, just like you said. And like, it can literally take a good like seed and grow it into a tree. Just having 2 people to be able to bounce back and forth off of.
Yeah.
And so in my professional career, I always look for people that I can trust with an idea that help grow it from that seed to something bigger. Because I know I have a lot of great ideas, but they're only good. They can become much better in the eyes of somebody else that's also helping to move it forward. So creative space definitely, and that takes friendship and relationship to build those relationships, to know that they're safe enough that you can take that nugget of an idea and grow it with somebody.
Well, and I like to think too, to take that back to the bridge analogy for a second. Like, you just continue to build the bridge stronger and stronger and stronger. And you look out maybe perhaps one day and it's a metal.
Yeah.
It starts off with planks across a ravine, and now, I'm going to add a little bit more to this bridge. Wow, this bridge can now have a semi-drive over it.
Yeah, it gets strengthened. Yeah, you're right. And eventually it maybe becomes just like a fully formed peninsula connection between two people. But like,
we bring the continents together. Like, I grab one side and bring the continent over to my continent.
Just close the gap all the way. Now you just got to jump over. There's no bridge necessary.
It's just a step over them.
It's a small ditch. But yeah, no, absolutely. You can strengthen those bridges after they're built. And that's I think that happens through a diversion. We're going to split off here, maybe. I don't know. I'm going to put it out there. I think that happens through shared hardship.
Oh, interesting.
Right? I'm single, so I don't know if this works for romantic relationships or not. But I will say, every time I've gone through a hard thing with a friend by my side, if I'm the one going through the hard thing, they're the one going through the hard thing, or we're both going through the hard thing together, we both come out with a stronger friendship on the other end of it.
Sure.
Like if we get through this thing, that friendship is now more solid.
Well, I have to completely agree. I just joined those two words together.
That's cool. I like it.
Cool like that. I complete.
It
doesn't make sense, but I completely agree because I see that in marriage. You know, my relationship with my wife, like we have it written on our whiteboard to remember we do hard things. And the more hard things we do, the more we can count on each other. And the more to become one, which is just amazing. We're talking about unity, and I'm not trying to single people. You have friendships. I get we have family who we're close to as well. But like what I'm finding in my marriage relationship, it's like we don't think the same. We're actually mostly opposite on almost everything. She plans, I fly by the seat of my pants, and I could go on and on. But in the hardship, when things hit us, we forge new neural pathways. We look at each other and we're like, it's just you and me. And we get the exponential problem solving, and we get, all those benefits, which kind of makes sense, because we have so many people challenging, like, is marriage smart? And the marriage rates are way down, and, there's different societal things going on. But like, from the very beginning, I mean, in the Bible, but sure, in any ancient text, marriage is a thing. Marriage is a smart thing. He who finds a wife finds a good thing, and so I'm not trying to preach at Cameron here that he needs to get married.
I agree. I mean, hey, any single ladies out? No, I was kidding. I'm not using this as a thing.
So
I hope not.
Bring your plank and start building a bridge with Cameron. But I can see that in marriage even so much better. But in friendship, completely agree, and that's what marriage is ideally supposed to be, two people that can be friends. But yeah, one, it's a weird dynamic that I haven't thought about also very much, and that is sometimes time apart makes it stronger, right? Like me and Cameron, we don't talk every day.
That's a great. I want to jump in on that if I can jump in.
Go for it.
Because me and Aaron haven't seen each other in 4 months face to face, 5 months. It's been almost half a year. It's been a minute, and I can't tell you how much I looked forward to today. I got sick right before the cats are fighting, apparently. I got sick before we got together today. We had to actually reschedule. We were going to get together a couple of days ago, and I can't tell you how bummed I was. So I was like, I'm missing the bro date. Like, I've been looking forward to it for weeks now.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm missing it. And I texted you. I was I was very upset. But I was like, hey, is it possible you have some time later in the week once I'm better that we could get together? And Aaron was like, let me check my calendar. And he came back with another day, a couple days later. I was like, perfect, let's do that. And I don't know if you can hear that. There's a cat. There's
a cat singing.
Dying?
Song.
Where is that at? I honestly can't tell where it's coming from. Is it outside?
That way.
That way? Okay. I'm deaf in one ear, so everything sounds like it's around me.
Seems to have ended its howling.
Okay.
But yeah, so we're going back where you were talking about like time.
Yeah.
And how it builds friendship, time, space.
Yeah, the time away also strengthens just as much as time together. And so, yeah, I highly agree with that. Anyway, yeah.
Well, yeah, and I don't know, I'm just thinking about it a little bit more, and I think of some friendships that I've had and how it seems inversely proportional, because you would think the longer time span between contact would be bad or make it worse, or you lose contact. But, the theory I have, and maybe most people have this, is that it works that way. If I don't talk to Cameron for 5 years, then we're not going to be friends anymore. But I found a strange dynamic to oppose that, and that was that I've met up with friends after decades, and we still get along, and we're still joking, and we're still having a good time, and it bumped us forward, and it's somehow that time separated made it even more, I I guess, beneficial to our friendship, and it cemented it. And that, we can see that also with me and Cameron and our friendship, as he's talking about, that like we'll go 6 months probably since we went to a movie, went on a bro date, but we're talking, I was texting him and he helped me start the podcast, and
we got Discord. This is not a Discord commercial. We are in no way affiliated with Discord.
Right? Be careful. I don't want a lawsuit.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so we have ways of maintaining communication. And, it becomes 2 or 3 months, and I'm like, well, actually, it probably becomes 2 or 3 weeks. And I'm like, let me check on Cameron. I haven't talked to him in a while. And then we'll talk on the phone a little bit, catch up just a little bit. But, then we meet in person, and, we went for a walk and talked. I mean, normally pretty boring stuff, I would say, in life. But for me and Cameron, it was amazing. And we're like, man, we got to stop this. We got to pause it. Save some for the
podcast.
Right?
The thing we're here for, right? No, it's funny too because we our conversation while we were walking was about shoes. It was deep and long, and that could have been a rabbit hole in its own right. But it's fascinating the subjects you can connect over.
Yeah.
And like hearing Aaron's adventure with like health and fitness and exercise, and looking back on my own history in that, I need to get back into exercise and stuff. But like also, it kind of reinvigorates me a little bit. Like I need to focus more on that. And then the whole idea of the phone. What's going on? Oh, sorry, I saw you doing something. Was it broken or?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, we're face to face when you see each other do stuff sometimes. And anyway, just talking about like how the shoes can help with exercise, how much of a benefit they have, and on not just your like feet, but your whole body. It's just fascinating. So
yeah, I didn't know we had that in common. And he's saying, "What's going on for you?" And I'll be like, "I'm running barefoot." He was like, "Oh," and he talks about research and shoes. Talked about the book that I've talked about on here before, but I'd be happy to give it another plug. Born to Run by James McDougall. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, such a good story. And so much good information, and that's what we were talking about, the research that James McDougall did. And it was just, it's fascinating to hear that Cameron did research on his own and came to some of the similar conclusions.
Yeah. It's wild to see, like, that's the thing about friendship. You don't know where it's going to take you. But like, no matter where it's going to improve you in some way.
Yeah.
Either it's going to help you see or remind you of something that you've seen that helps you move forward, or it's going to point out things that you had no idea about. And that could be the change, a pivot point in your life that you would miss without that friendship. Like you could change the entire trajectory of your life. You could be somewhere completely different. The cats are fighting again in 5 years with this friendship in your life, this one key thing. I'm gonna go deal with the cats. We're back. Cats, what's going on over there?
Well, I'm going to talk to you. Oh,
I'm still connected. Oops, kitty.
So I'm going to talk about how much you can learn. He can still hear me, although
I am. I'm all the way over here. I can still hear.
right now, but you can learn so much. You can learn so much from talking about anything. So we both learn each other's experience about learning and about learning and all this stuff. And that dovetails really nicely with one of my favorite topics of all time, and that's listening. Ooh. And so listening, you can learn so much stuff, right? Just one of the many benefits of listening. Not only can I get to know Cameron better, get to know his life better, get to know what he's read and the research he's done. But by me listening to him, I learn so much. And then when it's my turn to talk, then he listens to me and he learns new stuff. And, I think about how I read the book, and now he knows the synopsis of what the book's about. And if he reads it, it only makes our common ground even greater.
More than that, though, the listening and that process of like sharing knowledge, it's just like the effort in friendships. Like if you're doing something together, it gets multiplied. also the understanding of something can become multiplied just by the sharing of information. And so that's one of the things I value so much in friendships is like, I never know what I'm going to learn. Like I could learn something I never knew I wanted to know. And now it changes my idea of what I want to do even. Yeah. And so, yeah, friendships are really powerful.
Yeah, we can change direction. We can learn something new. I mean, and that's really what this podcast is all about, is inspiring and giving some new thoughts to people and, you know, allowing you to listen to us, right? And you might see it as comic relief, and, you know, that's okay too. And you might see it as a new idea that could change your life, or you might, I mean, that's what planting seeds is all about. We might be planting a seed in there that when you come to that juncture, you're like, oh, I've heard about this somewhere before. You might remember it came from us, but probably a lot not, and that's okay. I don't even care. I don't care if you think, oh, Aaron taught me this. As a matter of fact, I'd prefer to remain anonymous, because then hackers don't come try and find me and steal my money.
Come at us. I got you.
No.
Let's go. Just you try it. I'm backing him up.
Well, I mean, maybe, but... Yeah.
I mean, after the problems happen, I'll help him recover at the very least.
I mean, it's hard to steal something from somebody who has nothing except friends. You know?
Wow. Oh, hey, that's a good one. A full circle moment. Yeah. Again, friendship is better than gold, because gold can be stolen, but friendships, nuh-uh.
As a matter of fact, friendships will have your back.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, what did you say about Aaron again?
Excuse me? What did you say about my boy?
Well, I've never heard anything about that. What's your evidence or proof? You know, or exactly, you know, so, and I'm not looking for people to defend me either, but you know, that's just something that comes with.
Feels good to have someone have your back, you know? Yeah. You don't expect it, but whenever it's there, you're like, oh, this is nice. This is good. I could get used to that. So
but I think Cameron's on board with this. We're about planting seeds in your life that just grow up one day. And you're like, I don't know where I learned this from, but man, this changes my life. You know, and so that's why we do the podcast. That's why we ask how, you know, what's one good thing in your day today, and all these, you know, selfless acts of friendship, like almost Yeah. So thank you for joining us today on this episode for Rabbit Holes with Rabbit Holes with Aaron. I'm going to get it. I don't even know the name of my podcast. Rabbit Holes with Aaron. Cameron today as a guest. Thank you, Cameron, for showing up. We might do another episode, so bye and watch out for it. Thank you, Cameron.